Hi, this is Dawn here. I'm looking at my camera. I don't think I have it set up exactly how I want. It seems to be really blurry. But we're going to keep at it, see if I can't get it in focus. Anyway, oh shoot. I'm back on. I'm going to start doing some painting here. The first thing I've been doing here is, oh shoot, can't say, is just taking several canvases. Really need to fix that. Maybe if I go a little bit further back. Well, that seems to be in focus. Right. Maybe if I go a little bit behind me, maybe that'll work better. What I'm doing is I'm doing just kind of toning the canvas. And I found a big difference in these canvases here. You can see this is really beating up here. I mean, yeah, I thinned it down with some water. But this one here is an incredibly, I don't know what they used for their primer on here. So I'm a little hesitant to use it, but it beat it up worse than this. And so I'm just doing this to tone it, to kind of put a neutral kind of mid-value, so to speak, behind here. Sometimes it's kind of fun to do a color as your base coat, especially like a red or an orange, and then leave bits of that show through, kind of, especially on the edges of objects and stuff. So it was not as, let's see if we can't get it a little bit better tone-wise. So after last week's video, that same day, I was on the big World Wide Web reading all kinds of things, everything from news to some posts in like the Aphantasia group. And somehow I was looking at something and then ran across another article about Aphantasia. And it was called, I don't know if you can read this here, "The Mind's Eye is Not a Metaphor. I don't know how to say that word, Visuospatial Working Memory and Mental Imageries for Learning and Language Comprehension." And this is what caught my eye, okay? And going back to one of my goals, which was the awareness. I suppose I could kind of move this a little bit. I think you need to see me, but I'll be in here. And anyway, so one of the things that that one of my goals was to make an awareness, especially like for teachers or people who maybe work in medical fields where, the brain is part of their work or therapy. And anyway, so I haven't been able to access the article. It's one of those research articles that's in, I'm not even sure, it was published in May 9th of 2024. I can go back and get the links to it, if you want to access it. But anyway, so I'll read the abstract to you, which I found, which really caught my attention. So research on memory and language has been historically studied to understand the role of verbal memory in language. But it is far from clear how visual memory is involved in acquiring knowledge and language. In this review, we focus on Visuospatial Sketchpad from the working memory model, which explains the perception and storage of visual representations to process language. So I had to look up that Visuospatial Sketchpad. And so basically what that is, it's a component of working memory that stores and processes visual and spatial information. It's used temporarily to store and manipulate information like color, shape, location, and movement. So how it works is it receives the sketchpad, the visuospatial sketchpad receives information from the senses or long-term memory. It's associated with the right hemisphere of the brain, which if some of you might be familiar, if you're artists, you might know drawing from the right side of the brain. And that area of the brain is the part that is kind of the more creative, abstract part, where the left brain is very rigid. It likes things neat and orderly. It likes numbers. It likes, boxes. It identifies things like it attaches, like this is a hammer, this is a square, this is, where the right side of the brain is a little bit more freeform, so to speak. I don't know if I'm explaining that quite right, but so and the sketchpad, going back to the sketchpad, the Visuospatial Sketchpad, it also is used to rehearse visual images and in everyday life, such as using a map or driving or walking through doorways. So that's how it's used. And then it's used to store visual features of objects. So particular things that you would identify with an object. For example, like a book, it's got pages, a spine, a front and a back, okay? And so me just talking about that, I'm not pulling up an image of a book, but I have an awareness and a memory of those things. So it's interesting how this is getting disconnected. And then it details with spatial and movement information. So, and there's some people that are credited with that. I'll let you look that up if that's really where you want to go with it really deeply. I don't plan to go really deeply on any of this. So anyway, so going back to the abstract here. So in the review, we focus on Visuospatial Sketchpad with the working memory model, which explains the perception and storage of visual representations to process language. Okay, so it is still in the abstract here. It says it is significant from the light of findings that verbal memory is necessary for language. Similarly, visual memory is also crucial in the processing and comprehension of language. And that's an area that I struggled with, is remembering things. Sometimes it's like, what did I do yesterday? So to this point, we review the analysis of dual coding theory, which suggests that verbal and visual memory are equally crucial for language processing. Further, the visual memory turns into visual or mental imagery that acts as an offline perception in the absence of sensory input. For people with aphantasia, this mental imagery is absent or impaired, leading to difficulties in the language comprehension. Therefore, studying the importance of visual memory and mental imagery in the language processing is necessary. My mouth is not working real great today. Taken together, the paper presents a broad spectrum understanding of the mind's eye that develops and comprehends the information with mental imagery. The article explains the biological pathway of visual representations in the visual cortex, forming visual memory and mental imageries that eventually help in learning. And so, to me, that sounds like a really pretty cool breakthrough. Some of those research articles are way above my head, but I can at least connect that where they're saying the verbal memory and your visual memory are working together to help you learn, and especially in comprehension. So that makes a lot of sense to me. So today, I've got several canvases set up, and so the one thing I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do the tool on this one. I'll just write that on here, and I think I'll do an apparition on this one. And if you watch the other video, I was doing the word apparition means to kind of come out of nowhere, and they're usually abstract works of mine. I don't really have one. I think I mentioned how like there's a image on my like thumbnails. When you first look at some of my video, it has that same art and aphantasia, and the image in there is an apparition painting. I have one. Okay. So I have never been able to do abstract work with it. Oh boy, that light is really, maybe I can switch that light. To do abstract work where I just didn't want to like burn it, It's just got it's got a glaze on it. If I just shut it off once, it seems to be a little bit. Oh, I think it's from the outside light. Anyway, and so I was never really successful with them until I wrote to a guy on Instagram who I just adored his abstract work, and I just said I really struggled with it, And I told him about my aphantasia, and he wrote back, and he said, "Wow, it sounds exactly what I would like to have because I have too much stuff in my brain, and it kind of competes with what I do sometimes here." And anyway, so he gave me some basic things and how he starts, and it was just like it just seemed to like click for some reason, and I was able to kind of create these things. And so for those, a lot of times what I'll do is I just react to the canvas on these. So that's what will probably start and happen here. Here I will probably do the tool, and these will be part of the interactive part. Let's see if I can switch this so I don't know if it's going to get, it's just so fuzzy today. I don't know why I can't get that clear. It's got to be something to do with the focusing. Well, that didn't help. And so it didn't help either. And this will be the interactive part where these will be based on a random word generator. And so I probably won't do these today, but I will give the same word to you guys. And those will be also, I'll either edit the text in this or put it in a comment below. And you can choose one of them. And then what you can do is you can draw or create that word. Okay. These are made up words, and what you envision that these would look like. Because for us with aphantasia, when we think of something, there's no mental image. Remember, it's image-free thinking for us, whereas something in common, like a hammer, which was suggested for me to do, and I think that's what's going to be my choice, is, I know, I've just got to fix this so you can see it. Is it so fuzzy? All right. So for a hammer, I know there's the part that hits the nail, and there's some, let's see if I can move this so that, there, okay, that's a little bit better. This, and spatially, it's probably, maybe I have to make this a little bit smaller. This is one thing that happens a lot in my drawings is proportions. I have to redo things on proportions. This is a little bit more like this. And then the hammer goes up. There's kind of a, to make the three-dimensional part. And it comes in, the handle's going to kind of come in there. I've used a hammer enough, that watching it, I used to hold my dad's tools a lot. And so that would give me some time to observe things. Okay, not quite right. Oh, one of the things is part of the handle is up here at the top, I think, because the handle goes through the metal shaft of this. And so for me, observation is a big thing. This is so not right here. Okay, this is going to be harder than I thought. And this is pretty, let's see. I don't know if I've got this long enough. I think this is going to be smaller. I know the handle comes out a little bit. Shaft of that, where you, portion-wise, it seems not quite right in terms of the length of this. Now this is where I would either get out a real hammer or, look at a photograph of one, because I don't have that in my head. Okay, I think proportion-wise that's better. I make this a little bit smaller. So, all right, we'll give that. Then we'll start over here, because I'm going to kind of switch between paintings here. Set that aside just a second. And so the apparition is just, I start with the starting point with, usually with this. No, these are little, this is a really short piece of a graphite stick that is just pure graphite. They come in, I think they're Lyra brand, Lyra. And so a lot of times what I do is I just start with a line. I'm just going to use these random things that happen from when I put this paint down. And maybe I'll just kind of use those. A lot of times these tend to be almost landscape in a way. This is already going different than I normally do these. And so I'm just letting my hand react here. And so got these kind of shapes going. And I can, like this here looks awkward to me. So part of my processing is taking the skill set I have of just knowing composition. I mean, this just, although it could end up being, almost like a hallway kind of a view, but it's going to be abstract. We'll throw that in. I don't know. Doesn't seem quite right, but and then I would start painting on this. I kind of want to switch over. I'm going to bring my camera over because I want to do the random word generator thing to make sure that I get that in today, which while I start painting, you guys, whoever's, watching or comes back to this a little bit later, has the opportunity to do that. Right now, if you're on Facebook, you can send them to me on my visual arts page or post it. I'll make a post over there. I don't think I have an email attached to this, but if you go over to my website blog, which is just dawnrosbach.com, I think there's a place there where you can contact me. And I don't know if you can send any images there, but if you send me like a, your email, I'll contact you with that or somehow. We're kind of in the beginning stages of some of those semantics about how to, or dynamics about how to get things connected, right? So, all people can participate. So I don't know, maybe you can, if you can post pictures underneath the YouTube video. I guess I've never tried that. That'd be great. Or a link to it or something if you want to participate in that part of it. So let's go do that for a second. And then I'll see if I can't. I don't know what maybe there's something on my camera. Maybe it's dirty. Oh, that doesn't seem to be any better. But so here is the fake word generator. And I don't even know if you can see that. Okay, that's going to be. But so here it is. And so I'll hit this. Okay. We have hutal, tempruck, reebix. Legend sounds like doesn't sound like, these sound like they could be nouns, which you kind of have to have it to be. So I will leave that there and I'll come back and just going to see. This is my painting. So yeah, everything's really fuzzy. Is that better? No. I wonder if I can switch cameras. Gosh darn. I might end this stream just because that camera is so, it seems to be a little bit better there. Get it to be a little bit more focused on that spot. Okay. There we go. I'm talking to myself anyway. So, all right. So I think I will go back to the tool. Oh, that's just so off. I think I will block in some color here. And I will do this. I'm going to do this in oil, I think. But I need to find my burnt. Let's indigo. Do it with some raw umber. And this is terribly off. It's pretty funny. See if I can't get. And so that's the one thing I know is I know it's off, but I have nothing to compare it to. So take this off because that's acrylic. I don't want to mix my acrylic accidentally. And and last week I might have mentioned some of the things. I have an old jar here. And so this is some liquid and then I have some burnt umber. I should probably find some white to throw on there so I can create some values. And here we go. So I'm just using the liquid. It just kind of thins this down a little bit so that it, because I kind of paint in layers. So I'll start with the handle. And see if I can adjust some things as I go. If you notice there, that big pause when I was talking a few minutes ago, it's really challenging for me to demo something or do something with my hands and continue talking through it. So, and I don't know if that's just my dad did that. So, but he's not alive to ask him if he could see mental images. Some people have found that other family members have it. So some people have had mental images before. They could see mental images. But then due to a traumatic event or injury, they have lost that ability. How they discovered it was a doctor did some type of surgery. And honestly, I don't remember how, what kind of surgery, so all of this has to be smaller. And the patient, after the surgery, no longer had mental imagery. And, of course, that those of us who have never had it, as far as we know, I've had some, accidents in my life. I nearly drowned as a kid when I was 8, but I don't remember having, anything different. I didn't like pass out or anything. I just, I went down a few times, and my brother was able to pull me and my cousin out of this drop off area that we were in. But, it wasn't like I was out of unconscious. That's what I'm trying to say. And okay, so I have the side of this here, kind of a very side angle. I don't know if my view, maybe that's what I've got going here, is I've got kind of two different views here. I've got kind of a very side view going, with this part of it. But then here I'm seeing 3/4 of the hammerhead. So if I want to show this part of the hammer, I'm getting a lot of that graphite, then I have to change the view of this. So and that's where I'm going to get into trouble because I don't know. That's okay. We'll just keep going. So then this is going to come down a little bit, and this is going to go like this. And still have this. But then I should be able to see part of the second one. This one would be a little bit longer. It looks just terrible. All right, let's fill this up. See if I can adjust some things. And this is all wrong. I think this thing has to be smaller. So I'm actually going to So I think I'm going to make just some really thin paint here, and then see if I can't redraw it. All right, let's change it so it's a little bit more angle. I think it's worse. I just heard a cat. I don't have a cat. Oh, I think I know what it is. I downloaded this weather app that has a kitty on it. Okay, I can make this work. So this would be a little bit more like this. Is it showing right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Let's make this a little bit smaller. I don't know where I got this bright idea. I thought this was a good idea to do this. I'm almost regretting this. So what it does show is I have really good observation skills, but fix smaller yet. Okay, this is I don't want to take that out here, but it's not in the right spot. Obviously, it's not in the right spot, but I need to use it as a guide to help me figure out where things are. I'm doing that too big, I think. Stick with the handle for a while, huh? Okay. This goes. All right, let's take that off. Maybe I'll just try and go back with the side view because I'm getting confused with the side view, and the 3/4 view is still interrupting what I'm trying to do here. Doesn't even look like a hammer. I don't even think it looks like a hammer. Okay. All right. Not bad. Okay, something, maybe this is lower. I'm still trying to do the 3/4 view there instead of just a direct side view. It's getting there, but it's not proportion-wise. I'm not sure, like if this distance, I feel like this is kind of okay. I mean, it makes it recognizable, right? And then maybe just extending that has helped. But in here, I'm not sure, like, is the distance from here to here the same, or is this part a little shorter? There are different types of hammers too. Maybe this is just a Dawn hammer. There's no other hammer like it. Just like, okay. All right. That's not too bad. Okay. Now the question is, and I like the mark making that's happening there. It's gonna be like the scrub marks that have happened. And I honestly, this is, I think, is more squared. I don't think it's round. Like, I don't know if you can see, I guess you can kind of see it. Maybe I can prop that up a little bit. Maybe if I just go like that. Well, you can always see it. I can turn that down just a little bit. There, okay. Okay. I think that's okay. Put a little nail down there. All right, I like it. All right, now the question is I will look at this tomorrow and go, what the heck? You know, like, what were you thinking? Doesn't look anything, especially when I get a hammer out. And I go, oh boy. But that's okay. That's not our goal. So what I'm trying to do, and this is going to be a learning curve for me, is try to verbalize as much of the process of what I know. I feel like I've done okay. By the way, there were suggestions on the last live, the intro video of, I completely forgot my train of thought there. There were some comments on the last live video I did and suggestions for tools. And the hammer was one of them. Broom was another one, and a kitchen whisk. And I was like, oh, the kitchen whisk would be fun. I think this goes up. But it was like, oh my God, it's like, okay, I know at least the whisk guy. I have a couple different whisks. One is just a pretty normal one that most of you would be familiar with. But the other one is pretty old, and it's really big and wide. But I was thinking about the like the wire parts. It's like, how many are there, And so, yeah, anyway, so we have a little, scrubbing a little bit of something here. Give ourselves a little bit more texture there. We'll fill it in later. Yeah, I think this is up a little bit. I might have to. Not sure. And I'm missing kind of I know I have a hammer where there's some that sticks out a little bit, because the shaft, the handle goes through the metal there, but I don't know if it does it on all hammers, now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. So I think throughout my life, I have possibly picked up on looking at details, on some things, objects when I hold them, um, when I draw, and from life, like let's say I had a hammer in front of me, I would be able to, notice those nuances and those really fine details. But I also taught that too, to my students, is how to look for those details, because those are the things, especially the values, um, of an object. Like right now, I don't have really much form or three-dimensional up in this part. I'm starting to get some in the handle. And those are skill sets, that I have learned, in the classes I took. And that was before I knew there was even such a thing. I have an odd reflection going here, so let me turn on a light. I don't know if that'll affect. Oh no, I think it looks good. It's much better for me to see what I'm doing here. Where was I at? Skills like, value. And if this is the part where I said I wasn't going to be teaching, this wasn't a class to learn things, but I certainly don't mind sharing. If you're not an artist, and if you are and you're not, familiar with the term value, it's not how it's not the worth of the painting, like $20 or $200 or 2,000. Value in this case is the range of lights and darks. And right now I'm working with just one color, the burnt umber and white. And the white is giving me, so this would be the darkest value, the white. No, I don't have a pure white because my brush is dirty. The white would be, the lightest value, and then anything in between is going to be a value as well. So then you get this range. I only have 3 here, but I could probably create 8 or 10, values that would be easy to pick out, on the painting. So that being said, maybe I'll scrub in some, and you can almost see like I'm starting to create some richness with the background by doing this, scrubbing in there. So, and I might just let, I kind of like, I think with the tool, the really textured background will look really nice, So, where this has got to get fixed. So maybe I'll take a little bit of white and kind of work with the negative space. Something, I may not have done something right there. And without the tool in front of me, some of these areas are tough to figure out what, because this, I believe the handle is right in the middle of the body of this, kind of for a balance of that. So I may have to bring some of this back. I move all over when I'm painting. I mean, I don't, like start left to right or anything. Oops. I didn't want that to happen. I'm using oil paint. I had some acrylics out actually here. I was going to use those. Something's really wrong in there. It's okay. I was going to use some acrylics because I have some acrylics really that are probably need to be used. They're starting to kind of, I've noticed a few of the tubes are, oh shoot, I really liked the way it was before. It's okay. Is it this area that I just changed? I think I gotta go back. Anyway, and then I last second changed my mind and I said, no, I like working with oils. I like the way they feel. I like the richness that happens with them. Okay. I think I was saying I like the richness that happens with them. I work a lot of my mixing almost directly on the canvas too. I think when I do the apparition and start that, you'll see. I think what I will do is I will paint this mostly in this monochromatic just using the values, and then I think I will go in and try and do some glaze over it. So what this is known as an underpainting, sometimes known as a grisaille, which is spelled Grisaille. Yeah, I'm kind of digging this. Something sure on the bottom of that hammer that's not right. Yeah, I'm okay with this. So I think a quick, just kind of throw in a little bit more in the background areas. to kind of create a better contrast. I really like the texture going on back there. I probably have said that several times. And there's no doubt in my mind I'm channeling Jim Dine right now. If you do not know who Jim Dine is, believe he's still alive. Pretty popular, well-known artist, and well-known for his hearts and tools. And I think that could be one of the inspirations why I thought tools would be kind of cool. Tools have always been just a really super. I always thought my hands were always. I have a weird collection of hands, like porcelain hands. Weird, I don't have any of them out anymore. But I always really appreciated. I was able to create, with my hands and being able to do things. And so tools always, are just an extension of that to help you, of course. And I think, and then like the hammer, of course, my dad was a carpenter. So it's always pretty symbolic of that livelihood. He wasn't always a carpenter, but he always did carpentry and he was really good at it. But anyway, just that being that extension of your hands, the tools, whether it's the paintbrush or the hammer or, the whisk in the kitchen, a saw, a brayer for printmaking, the carving tools. There's always this really cool thing. And I think, I know I did a stained glass piece a while back. That was, I gave to my mom, and it was a hammer and, kind of it was a ruler, although it was, curved, to create movement and stuff. And, and that was a lot of people wanted to buy that, but it really wasn't for sale. And, because they also associated like their dad's hammer with, memories and, so I think that action and that definition of somebody using their tool, and kind of defines their livelihood or something that they like doing, is pretty cool. The handle's not right, is it? This isn't right either. Oh. There's a richness going on here that I like too. I think I gotta clean my brush. See. So this actually slims down, doesn't it? So it slims down and then goes out. It kind of comes back in or something. A little bit more paint. I probably go through a lot more paint than most people too. Yeah. All right. I think, oh my goodness, I've been on for an hour. All right. Well, that being said, I think what I will do then is end it there. And maybe I'll just leave this painting here. I'll come back to it maybe tomorrow or Sunday and then start the apparitions because, yeah, I didn't realize I was on that long. Time just flies when you're painting stuff. And I promise I'll try not to look at a hammer. It goes like that, and then it goes out. Look at me sitting here, I'm not ending. So all of a sudden, I think I remember that it goes in and then back out a little bit. I don't know how far down. So I'll match up this side a little bit. That looks like a Coke bottle. No, it doesn't. Okay. Awesome. All right. We'll have to fix the values down here to make some more lights and darks. And I definitely have to come in here and do some values to make things, because this has got kind of a flat side. Not sure how I'm trying to describe that, but this is definitely darker in this area because it's set back. And speaking of values, your lighter colors come closer to you. Darker colors recede, look further away. So fun. I do enjoy painting. Maybe I should stick a nail back there. Okay, well, that's my first tool. It needs some work yet, right? But I think I have, well, we'll see when I get a hammer. I'll bring out a hammer when I work on this a little bit further, and then we'll do some comparisons and see, what I should have fixed. I think I'm going to leave these kind of in the state that they are as far as my recall of the tools and objects. And so, because I do plan to secure some exhibitions to be able to talk about this process and the grant, and what the goals were, and also have that interactive component. And I'm going to just remind you what the words were. hutal, Hutal, tempruck, Tempruk, and reebix. Maybe I should write those down so people can see that. I will do that. If you can find, oh yes, I have a piece of paper here. So, hutal, Hutal, with a T there. I hope you can see these. I can't. I'm not looking at my screen. Tempruck, Tempruk. I'll put these in the comments or in the description too. And then reebix. Reebix, Reebix. And so I will try and do one of those as a painting and what my version is. And then if you guys are joining in on that activity. All right. And with that note, I thank you, and we'll see you next time.